Then we've got daily events. And these are what is going to be changing tonight. So this is what we'll take a second here and talk about with our new 12-hour events and how they're changing. So in 5.5 hours, these events will end and they will go away forever. And I might finally be getting my wish because I've been wishing for over 2 years and I've been lobbying and I keep just bringing it up every couple of months. For G4 players, you guys get hosed on these events because you still get G3 materials for them. And there was no reason for it. It was a bad copy paste from the beginning that never got fixed. And they came up with some lame excuse like, oh, well, we understand that, G4 players might still be working on like G3 ships for scrapping and stuff, and that's still part of the economy. And, we want to make sure that they still have those resources available. And it's like, no, that's not why. That is the lamest excuse I think I've heard in a long time for that. But these events are all going away. And if we go to our website, we can see in our patch notes that these things are going away. There we go. Historic change to our event schedule. Let's go find the article. Come on. There it is. Nope. So, daily, weekly, monthly events. Whole thing's getting revamped. The 6-hour, 12-hour events, which had an 11-day timer, which we had this handy dandy little website, .ovh, that kind of told us all about this stuff. And you could kind of figure out what's going to overlap with what where. Yeah, these are all gone. All of these events are gone. No more upgrading research or stations or spending officer XP or even doing recruits. Those are completely gone. They will instead be replaced. Most of us are going to fall into this one. We'll just look at the 20 plus ones. If you're below Ops 20, well, there's a chart for you guys too and what you're going to have to do. And it's going to be research, station, ships, and officers for you. But for the rest of us, you're going to have these rotating 12-hour events. Strengthening your fleet commander, spending G3 or higher materials on buildings and research. So spending on upgrade ships will not count. So I guess this is going to help you or force you to spend research materials during the week when you might not otherwise spend them on research and on buildings. And then you'll have your officer auctions on the weekend and won't have as many materials available to try and use. The rewards are going to have to be really damn good for this. Just saying right off the bat. Same thing here. This is another one. Here's the one to upgrade your ships is number 3. So unless these happen to overlap with a weekend spend, probably not doing these unless the rewards are really spectacular. And I can't imagine they're going to be. I have to imagine a lot of people are probably just going to skip these and be like, no thanks. And then item number 4 here is using acquiring artifact tokens or spending artifact tokens. So using your isolytic and premium tokens or your temporal disruptors to get artifact shards is what you'll have to do for the 4th one. It's nice that they're updating stuff. But obviously, things we've relied on, things we've saved for, will be going away. Now, a lot of these things used to be like ticket events or domination events would do some of this stuff, upgrade buildings, or we'd get a battle pass event to do fleet commander stuff or something like that. If these are going to be part of the norm, well then the stuff that we're no longer spending, like officer XP and recruit tokens and stuff like that, where are they going to come in? Is it just supposed to be, we're never going to do events for those things ever again, so feel free to spend them whenever you want? Or are those now going to be the things that we're doing in ticket events and in battle pass events since this stuff got pulled out of it. So we'll have to wait and see exactly what the case is going to be. Peace mentions that it doesn't say spending uncommon or higher. That's true. It doesn't specifically say spend uncommon or higher, so maybe you can get by with some common materials. Probably not. It's probably just poorly worded. Did we let Gabe write this? Who knows? And then here's what your actual calendar is. So your 12-hour event cycle between event reset, which for me is at noon, and daily goals, which reset at midnight. Well, 11 a.m. now with daylight savings time. But that's how this is how it's all going to sort of roll in and roll out. So you can get your schedule, get your calendar, figure out exactly still, when do I want to spend my artifact tokens? When do I want to do my building upgrades to at least take advantage of some of this stuff? There will also be 24-hour solo leaderboard events every day on a 4-day rotation schedule. These will happen at event reset, so in the middle of the afternoon. And it will be a 24-hour artifact hunt, fleet commander update, upgrade your ship, upgrade your building type of event. So again, gonna have to wait and see what the rewards are and see how these overlap. Because if these overlap with these events, then now you could potentially be double dipping. It looks like, of course, with the way the calendar's laid out here, that there are going to be times like day 1, SLB, limited time artifact hunt. That's a 24-hour event. Day 2, SMS, is also giving you a limited time artifact event. So there could be a 12-hour window when these two events overlap. And that's going to be important to take advantage of when those things overlap. There's also new Pinnacle of Power events. These used to be Ops 50 plus, which is how you, or 51 plus, which is how you sourced the materials you needed for certain research and for the superhighways and stuff. Now it looks like they're just going to be lower level events you can do as low as level 20 and alternate with those. And then our weekly event calendar is getting an overhaul as well. Monday is still Mining Monday. Tuesday is going to be upgrading your actually just using, it says it's Tech Tuesday. It's really just doing trial bells. It's not actually upgrading your forbidden tech. Oh, there's a second event. There we go. Never mind. There's a second event to upgrade and actually spend your materials. So you've got 2 events going on. The SMS is to do Q trials. The SLB is going to be to spend that material on your forbidden tech. Wednesdays is now killing Zindi, doing the Zindi armadas, and killing regular Zindi hostiles. If any of you are still working on a Cerritos, at least according to DJ, that should still run as normal on Wednesdays. Same thing with Thursdays and Apex and the Gorn events. Those should still all run like normal. Those are outside of this revamp. Now we have an event to use the cube on Thursday. So instead of what you would normally do, or at least, what it seems like here, Voyager, same thing, killing Herodians on Friday, Cosmic Cleanup on Saturday, Swarms on Sunday, and also a Mirror Universe event on Sundays for higher level players, 45 to 70, using your NSEA protector, but you can probably do it with any ship. You don't have to use the protector. Maybe it just might be easier for you to do it. So they're revamping the calendar. They're kind of giving, at least targeted ways to continue to do the existing loops and to source the materials, so you don't have to, find time to go out and grind these materials. It's like, well, if you just do it on Thursday with your cube, hopefully you stock up enough materials that you can then have enough to do your refines for the week and wait till next Thursday. Kind of the way we do with the Gorn event, right? Go kill Gorn on Thursdays, stock up a bunch of materials, use it for your refinery all week until next Thursday, and then, go kill more Gorn. Sugar says it looks like they're trying to get people to spend stuff during the week that would be better spent during a weekend recruit or something like an alliance tournament. It does seem structured that way. Like a lot of this stuff, the way we've been used to playing for 5+ years. Now, we don't know if they're making additional changes to any of those events too, or if players, at least for the first couple weeks, if these events are going to kind of flop, or at least some of them up here, because people aren't going to want to spend materials on stuff, spend upgrades, when they know there's likely to be other events, or at least we're anticipating there being other events where we would normally use this stuff. So it's definitely going to be a wait and see kind of thing to figure out where this is going. And are these events and the rewards better than what we'd get from the other stuff? And how we're going to go from there. Rogue asking a question. You're Ops 17. How do we get the USS Franklin? Saturday, Cosmic Cleanup. You can also get it from the event store that just launched this month. Those don't come around often. 3 or 4 times a year we have an event store. I think this year we actually had 5 though, because they were just happened to be how the way the arcs fell. But regular normal sourcing for that comes from the Cosmic Cleanup event on Saturdays. You do whatever you need to, kill some stuff, get this, and cash in those tokens, and you get part of the blueprints. And it takes you 10 weeks, I think, still, in order to actually source the ship. Like, you get a claim, you get 10 blueprints, or you can buy it from the event store that's going on right now. So that's what we have kind of going on here. They're trying to make it, hoping that we'll embrace the new event structure and strategize with our gameplay and how we're going to see how the new events are evolving in the Star Trek Fleet Command universe. I think, as always, everything is going to come down to what the rewards are. And if they're not good, well, then we're not doing this. So now, speaking of events and speaking of officer auctions and things like that, there is something I do want to take a minute to specifically point out. Let's go to our calendar real quick. This month's officer auction events on the weekend are different than what we're used to seeing. By the way, there's a syndicate event that starts tomorrow. The Recruit Sarin event is a heroic SMS. You'll notice it is running the full length of the arc, the 7th through the 22nd. So it starts this weekend and it runs for the 2.5 weeks or 2 full weeks through the end of the arc. This is what we normally have. Per inside sources, it was Ultimate DJs telling us this information. I'm just going to regurgitate it to you guys because it's really important. Instead of having individual events this weekend, like you normally get, and you get part of an unlock, or part of this, or part of that, and maybe you only get 2 or 3 milestones, and then the event ends, and then next weekend you get a new event, and you have to start over. It's one same long continuous event that will have, the first one will have 100 shard or 50 shards available, which is a half unlock. You can take the whole month to finish that if you want. You'll get your 50 officer shards and your half unlock, so you won't lose your progress along the way. If you finish this event, a second one will then launch. And the second one will have, I think he said 100 officer shards in the second event. And if you finish that one, because you got a lot of resources saved up, or you bought some packs and you're doing some upgrades, there is a third one that will launch as well, potentially giving you 300 officer shards, because I think it's 50, 100, and then 150 for the third one if you finish all 3 of them. The milestones do get slightly cheaper as well with the progressive events. So it won't be quite as hard necessarily to finish the second one or the third one. It's not like the milestones just keep going up and up and up. It's basically that the event starts over and it's slightly cheaper because they're kind of incentivizing you to do that. Now, we've seen something like this once before. Well, I think it was twice before, but it was all in the same arc. It was back in the Voyager arc. And it was with Janeway, specifically, that we had this problem, and it pissed off so many players. So I really want to just take a minute, pay attention, focus on in for a second. When you finish your first SMS, there is a chance your second event will not actually start and launch until you claim the rewards from the first one and complete it before the second one will pop. So if you're just mindlessly just spending, I'm just going to tear this ship up and keep going. I'm just going to get all these officer shards. And then you go and you look and then you finish and claim and you're like, why did I only get 50 officer shards for the first one? Why didn't I just keep scoring for my second event? There's most likely a trigger that the second event will not pop until your first event has been claimed and redeemed. So do not screw yourself by just blindly spending resources. It was the Janeway one. Yeah, I remember specifically because everybody was PO'd seriously pissed off about that one because they felt they lost out on dozens of officer shards because the second event didn't pop because like you didn't tell us that. You told us when we finished it, when we spent and hit that last milestone, a new event would start. And it wasn't until you actually claimed the rewards that the second event started. So please pay attention and save yourself the misery and just make sure, you're probably going to waste a little bit because it's too hard to line up those perfectly. But do whatever the best you can spend-wise to just hit that final milestone and claim your prize and launch the next event. Hopefully I'm wrong, and hopefully they spent the last year and a half figuring out a different trigger to get that event to pop. But I'm going to err on the side of caution and assume they didn't do that. Or perhaps they didn't even remember it was a thing. Oh yeah, people were pissed about that. It was so long ago. Half those people probably aren't even here anymore. So hopefully that does not become a problem again, but just wanted to point that out with the Recruit Soren event and how that's going to work differently. And potentially this could become a new thing going forward. There will still be the SLBs running on the weekends, but the SMS will continue throughout the week. So if you wanted to do your daily event, which is to upgrade ships or whatever, during the week and spend those materials, you can still work on your SMSs that way, so you're not just losing the resources completely in the new format. It will not help you score in the SLBs, but if you happen to be in one of those weird ops levels where you're at the bottom of the food chain anyway, and you never place high enough in any of these SLBs for it to matter, well, now you don't have to feel hindered by it, and you can do whatever you want during the week, because the materials are still going to count for your SMS, and they'll count for your 12-hour daily event too, and then you can just punt on the SLB event. So certainly a lot of interesting options with the way that this event structure can pay out, or play out rather. So keep that in mind is all I'm trying to say as you're going forward here with this new stuff and how it works.